Good morning. This is Father Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations where we generally look at one or another of the lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the daily office lectionary. And I thought today we would go ahead and take a look at the lesson that's assigned for evening prayer today from the book of the prophet Daniel. Now remember, we've been working through this story of Daniel that he advised Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, and helped him. And then when he read an interpretation for him and helped him with that. But now his son, Belshazzar, is on the throne, and he, like his dad, has turned to some pride, and his is going to be a much worse result than Nebuchadnezzar's. So let's read ahead where we are, chapter 5, beginning at verse 17. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, "Let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known unto him the interpretation. O thou king, the most high God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him, whom he would slew, and whom he would be kept alive, and whom he would set up, and whom he would put down. But when his heart was lifted up and his mind hardened in pride, he was deposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like unto the beasts, and his dwelling with the wild asses. And they fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointed it over whomsoever he will. And thou his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven. And they brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords and wives and concubines have drunk wine in them. And thou hast praised the gods of silver, of gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know. And the God in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written, Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin, and this interpretation of the thing, Mene, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou hast weighed in the balances, and art found wanting. Peres, thy kingdom is divided, and given to the Medes and Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet, and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him, that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. And that night Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, slain. So there it is. Whereas his father had the opportunity to ultimately repent, the error of Belshazzar the king was so grievous, his pride so great, especially on touching things of holy, right, the holy of the temple worship. This crime was so great that in fact God struck him down that very night. So anyway, as always, you can read ahead and read after the lesson. We're in the 5th chapter of Daniel, and you can go ahead and do so and keep up with the rest of the story. Today is Saturday, and so we will be having worship at St. John's Church tomorrow. I'm actually out of town right now as you watch this, and so we will have Father Anthony Estes will be doing our services tomorrow. We'll have 7:30 morning prayer, then 8 o'clock Holy Communion, 10 o'clock Holy Communion, and then we'll have a layman leading evening prayer at 5 o'clock. And only the 10 a.m. service will be live streamed on this Sunday. But I do hope if you're not out of town, like old Father Kelly here, that you will be able to join us here at St. John's for worship and to receive the Most Holy Sacrament. And if you are out of town, you can watch that 10 o'clock. Or better yet, find a good, faithful Anglican church near you, an Episcopal church with a good, faithful priest, and attend and glorify God with worship wherever you are on this Sunday. And for Saturday, I hope you have a good and blessed one.